you are doing the same thing as God, aka the spirit, your spirit, which is no thing non-corporeal. Um, so your spirit is no shape or form. It's it's odorless, it's gasless. When you're in the presence of nothing, no thoughts, no feelings, and you're just in the space of nothingness, and you're calm and cool and collective, and you're able to observe your mind and how you're feeling. Your mind is how it's creating these natures, these animalistic traits, which we call the zodiac signs, astrology. So it started subconsciously. So your mind, aka the sun, the father, the masculine energy, is how you envisionate, if that's even a word, envision and create ideas and concepts and externalize thinking, which turns into imaginations, water. So the thinking is logic. The spark of that vision is fire. Imaginations is water, and the grounding is making it practical, so it can take shape and form. So you're internalizing these things, and it becomes how you feel, connecting with it, internalizing your vibrations, which is the water, and also the feeling, the filler. So it becomes a wheel. You're externalizing and internalizing continuously. So as we are in this reality, it's already made before we was born. So, but we are doing the same mechanism as God. So God already created everything the same way we are creating ourselves through our parents, because it's through the mechanisms of God. Spiritually, it's the mental, the masculine, the inner, the emotions, which is the feminine, externalizing, internalizing. These are the mechanisms before it became physical, genders, man and woman. So, and this is how that first spirit created everything. And now we are in it, creating and being part of the reality that we're in, aka what we call Earth. So we are inside of God, aka ourselves, our higher selves, as what I like to call advanced blood cells. Just like we have cells inside of us, they have their own mini suns and moons, mini versions of externalizing and internalizing. That's why it's important to take care of yourself and feed what's important to you. And that comes with a lot of things, what you consume on a daily basis, whether that's friends, family, your surroundings, your environment, the food that you consume, how you think and how you feel about things, what you allow in your space, aka your spirit, because your spirit is nothing. Your spirit is just non-corporeal, but it's still something in that reality. It's just we cannot observe it. We cannot we shouldn't put names and titles and think about these things, because it's a presence, it's a space. So once you use your mind, aka your masculine energies, to name something. So let's say you want to name the spirit a spirit, but you don't know what it actually is. You're just gonna put a title on it, or you might say the spirit is a soul, or a flame, or some type of spark of fire. But that's not what it is. It's a presence. It's being in the presence of nothing, being the observer, and understanding your traits, your inner traits, your mind and your emotions, which is your will. So once you start using your masculine energies, your mind, to name things, which is not corporeal, you start adding things that makes no sense and is like misleading a lot of It's misleading yourself and others as a collective, especially if you're in religion or some type of, indoctrination. So this is how we understand ourselves better and come into conclusions of how to go about things to make sense of the world we're in, and each one teach one type shit. So we have to meditate and become more spiritual so we can truly understand ourselves, because the problem with society is we're too lazy and we're stuck in our desires. So how we view the world based on how we grew up and learned things based on this indoctrination, we want to be able to cater to our own sense of importance and, have some type of thing to stand on and ground on, which is earth quality. We use our mind, which is a lot the air logic. Air is scattered. So this is before it's the element that we see externally in this realm. So air is the logic. Air is scattered. It's all about the thinking. And once you practicalize something, once you ground something, make it physical, make it make sense in your mind, that's earth. So the idea will be the spark, which is the fire, the flame, and how you feel about it, the water, the emotions, the vibrations will be the fluid, the water. So the way we see water in this physical reality is a physical representation of how we utilize our water, internal, spiritually speaking. So how we feel is the water, is the fluid. So fluid plays out in many different ways. And everything is a condensing mechanism. God condensed itself from nothing. So the mind is the lightest fluid condensing into physicality. So your mind is your own world and how you carry yourself. And depending on how you utilize your mind is how you will yourself into existence, based on how you think, how you operate, how you feel. We are all different in how we operate. So a lot of people are different, and a lot of people are dumb, smart, intelligent, spiritually misguided, spiritually guided, shit like that, things of that nature. So a lot of people are different, but there's good, bad, but these are things that we create as moral systems to define what's good or bad. But there's no such thing as really good or bad. But it's important that we guide ourselves in a high moral destination and value. So the way this government and or the secret shadows and the system created this whole circumstance, this is how they wanted it to be, because they want their own version of, this is how they see their power, this is how they see God, this is how their viewpoints are limited, because they're not the smartest people on the planet. The shadows who are controlling everything around the world, they're not the smartest people on the planet, because if there was, they wouldn't allow so many things to happen and so many abominations to carry on. They will actually fix the problems of this world, but they don't, because they're just too lazy and they're stuck in a desire, aka a will, a sense of power, a sense of ego. So they probably think they're the smartest individuals in the planet just because they run the world. And they like to keep individuals, aka humans, in certain lower class of the pyramid. And this is for them, this is like the top of the food chain for them. So it's a spiritual race type thing, but they're not evolving, and humans are not evolving as they're supposed to. Is stagnated by miles. So it's important that we learn who you are as an individual, and don't get too lost in desires, because based on a desire, everybody's competing and getting too comfortable within their laziness. And there's nothing wrong with a desire, because a desire is how we got here in the first place. But some people value desires more than they should. So it's important to put more importance to the spiritual aspect of self and knowledge of yourself, and how we are creating this reality as within, because God is more important. The true God is more important than anything else, because God is creating these things as we are creating these things. So it doesn't make sense to be the observer and creating and getting stuck in these loopholes of selfishness and desires and greed, when it's deeper than that. So we need to learn how to be patient and meditate and look for a deeper meaning within ourselves and reality. But we cannot be afraid to tap into that power, because that's how they want you to be. That's how the shadows, the evil motherfuckers that's running the world, that's how they want you to be afraid to tap into your power. You see me and others like me, we're not afraid, because once you understand yourself, you will understand what I'm talking about. You will understand that there's nothing to be afraid of. You should be more afraid if you're stuck in a religion, even though you're not afraid. Even though you're comfortable within your own bubble. If you realize the truth, you will be glad that you got out of religion. But since you don't realize that, you would think it's nonsense or bullshit. Or you might think it's okay to not know everything, which is not true, because there's more people out there that knows more than you know. And they say ignorance is a bliss, but it's not a bliss. So for you to say ignorance is a bliss is why your society is in the circumstance the way it is in the first place, and why there's so much envy and destruction amongst our people and our race, spiritual race. So the only way to change this is to detach from certain dogmas and religions that's not really properly guiding us as a collective. So we have to look within and meditate and consume the right things. Change your mindset, change the way you feel about things. If you know something is bad for you, stop taking it. If you know certain individuals are not really your friends, stop being around them, because these individuals are not in your best interest. They're most likely stuck in this world within their own desires and bullshit. So you can't be a child of God and get stuck in retarded ass desires. That doesn't make sense, because your spirit is non-corporeal, and you're utilizing your space, which is non-corporeal, to get lost in the external realm, which is living in reverse. That makes you demonic by default. A demon is being stuck in this physical reality and not knowing what your spirit truly is. Angelic is knowing your spirit, and you're the observer of your mind and your feelings, and you can properly guide yourself into a higher moral version of yourself. That's what being an angel truly is. And this is what we're all trying to do. People like me, trying to help the collective wake up a little bit more, and just, you know, the more of us there is, the faster we can speed the process of creating heaven on earth. But it's all really within ourselves. We are creating heaven within ourselves. So if you can properly understand your natures within, and how your mind, how your feeling works, your masculine and your feminine energies, aka the sun and the moon, you can you'll be able to learn a lot about yourself, and also guide others if you're willing to teach. And you're also able to develop passions and your creative gifts, and whatever you're trying to get into, you're actually able to develop these things in a faster, quicker level when it comes to manifestation and bringing these things into existence. So it's not going to be a quick thing, it's not going to be fast, but it takes time. But I promise you, it's the most beautiful, divine thing you can ever discover. So the discovery of self and God is light years far greater than any desire you can achieve in this earth reality, especially if it's tied to a system, because we are creating this as within anyway, so it doesn't make sense to get lost in this reality. So, and if we're able to evolve in the right direction, we can create so many beautiful things in this reality. It doesn't have to be fleshy like this. It's gonna be fleshy like this, but it could be different. It could be, you know, motherfuckers want to fly, you know, have some turn into Super Saiyan, have a chakra cloak. That's all possible, but that's not right now. That's good. That looks impossible, but because everybody's lost in their own world. So it's all about your imaginations and how you stick to it. But don't get too delusional, because you have to make it make sense, which is the earth quality, make it practical. It's going to be a steady and slow process of evolution, but God is all possibilities. But I'm going to leave it at that. So I'll see you later. Peace.